Hi, this is Gizmo First, and today I am going to cover something which is extremely close to my heart. Before I was a Fallout fan, before I was a gaming fan, I was inevitably a Star Wars fan. But we're going to go to this today. Disney asks for Slave One renamed to Boba Fett Starship. As you can see, if I zoom in on this a little bit, the new Lego coming out, which has the Mandalorian minifigure and the new Boba Fett minifigure. The ship, which is Slave One, and it always has been for 40 years, Boba Fett Starship. No mention of Slave One. Now, this is a sensitive subject for a lot of people because obviously slave has a very negative connotation, but I cannot remember when the word slave had a positive one. Nothing's really changed in 40 years. 40 years ago, the word slave was not a positive one. Today, just people are more whiny about it. This has some meaning in the Star Wars universe. Generally speaking, Boba Fett is not a nice character. What are they going to rename it to? All-inclusive one? What are they going to rename it to? LGBT one? What literal meaning does this have? Every ship in the Star Wars universe has a name, this one included. I'm interested to see what name they replace it with. But he is not a good character. I mean, he's a good character, well-written character, even more so since The Mandalorian. It did a lot to flesh it out, and bravo to Dave Filoni and the team for that one. But this ship is iconic. It has been iconic forever. It's called Slave One because there was also a Slave Two in the now decanonized Star Wars books. There was a Slave Two. The only reason to change this is because somebody at Lucasfilm said, yes, we don't want the word slave mentioned in our Star Wars merchandising. Now, I do understand that to a certain point, but this is a fantasy universe and we cannot pretend that slavery doesn't or has never existed. It still exists today. People are being slaved all over the world. We just don't talk about it as much, right? So Boba Fett, as a historic character, he would have been involved in freezing people in carbonite. We know he did it to Han Solo. That was an experiment. I don't think he was doing it before that. I think because of him it took on, because we can see the Mandalorian freezing people in carbonite. I don't think it was widely practiced before Boba Fett did it to Han Solo. But let's have a look at what someone Disney said about this. It says, Jens, this is an interview. Then the next one, also from The Mandalorian, is Boba Fett Starship. Michael, yes, I built another. We're not calling it Slave One anymore. This is Boba Fett Starship. James, okay, why are we dropping the Slave One name? This is a loaded question because obviously they want to get a rise out of somebody at Lucasfilm. Jens, everybody is. I'm not. It's probably not something which has been announced, but publicly it is just something that Disney want us to use anymore. Okay, all right. So, there's a lot of people tweeting about this and talking about it on YouTube. That it's not that is a big deal. I think that we do have a tendency as a Star Wars community to take things a little bit too seriously, but this is kind of a big deal for me. I've got to say, I was actually a little bit miffed about this. This is political correctness gone mad. Boba Fett in this universe, he would have been transporting slaves for the Empire. We know that the Empire enslaved Wookiees and numerous different races. Who knows if he didn't transport Chewbacca at one point in time on this starship? So calling it Slave One would have had that connotation, and it's also a badass name for a starship. So, but Mark Anthony Austin has spoken up about it. If you don't know who he is, he played Boba Fett briefly in the reshoots for the 1990s special editions of Star Wars, specifically A New Hope. So, and he's actually gone nuts on social media recently, on Twitter. My ship will be forever Slave One. Nothing, not even #Disney, can or will change that. This is the way. When applying for personalized plates for my car, the DMV would not allow Slave One. Okay, I understand. I had to try, but I get it. This Disney idiocy, however, not buying it, not conforming to the mouse. No siree, not gonna happen. When I was growing up, I loved Disney. No more. Okay, so, and he's doing a lot more. He's posting about his favorite ship, his favorite moments, hugging the ship there. He might be going a bit too far, but he's hugging the ship there. He's an artist as well, or or employs artists. I'd need to go a little bit more into his timeline here, but I think it's him painting and doing stuff for it. So this is obviously a technical readout of the ship, but he said some really cool stuff. Yeah, this is him talking about how he's going to finish that picture. This is good. Death Star sounds a bit harsh, doesn't it? Maybe tone it down a bit, eh? 6-star, potentially dangerous star. Is that coming next? You know what? It sounds stupid, but I would not be surprised. Stormtrooper sounds a bit, I love this one, sounds a bit violent, doesn't it? From now on, Storm will be reduced to slight rainfall trooper. Oh dear me. Good night, sweet dreams of my favourite starship, Slave 1. Yeah, cool. I hope, this is quite damning in fact, I hope nobody buys this newly misnamed merchandise. I vow not to give a single dollar myself now that it's packaged Slave 1. If it's packaged Slave 1, I might. There we go. Will Bantha Poodoo, I hope they leave my ship alone. Chewie, well, they are going to leave the Millennium Falcon alone unless they repackage it as the Millennial Falcon. Okay. And there was another one somewhere. Where is it? I think I've gone for too far. I made a video yesterday which didn't come out. That's why I'm doing it again. Oh yeah, this is the one. Temporarily without Freedom Layer. That's coming, definitely, and my personal favourite. What's the name of my ship? Say it. Say it. My ship has a name. Come on. Smashing, Mickey Mouse at the wall. It's brilliant. I love it. Anyway, yeah, political correctness has gone absolutely insane. Renaming things that are iconic just because, really. There's no real reason. I wonder if we'll hear Disney say anything about it. I don't think they'll even mention it. They won't mention it at press conferences. If people ask them questions about it, they'll dodge it. Honestly speaking, it's their franchise to do with as they please, but they seem to continuously make... they seem to be continuously making decisions which alienate sections of the fans. They make one decision, it's okay, this section gets alienated. They make the next decision, the next section gets alienated, but it's continuous. They lose a few fans here, a few fans there, but with all these decisions over the year, it's snowballing up, and eventually it's got to finish somewhere, right? They are absolutely, I'm not going to... there's a lot of cliches out there, go woke, go broke, and all this different stuff. Time will tell if that is true, but this is nice. On Mark Anthony Austin's profile picture, he has this mention of him in the credits. Now, I would not, I don't think Disney will publish this publicly, but I would not be surprised if soon you can watch Star Wars on Disney Plus and his name is erased from that. Watch out for that. You heard it here first. I bet that's going to happen within the next few weeks. Mark Austin will be removed from here out of spite. We've seen this happen before. They cancelled Gina Carano. They fired her for being abhorrent, which her posts were not abhorrent. If you read the original post, they were not abhorrent. It was an allergy, right? This is a history of Disney doing this kind of stuff because they don't agree with someone or someone doesn't agree with them. They do things out of spite. They fired Gina Carano over Twitter just to be spiteful, and they've tried to blacklist her in every single place they can to make it impossible for her to get work. There's no reason, no excuse for downing someone's career other than the fact that you're spiteful. So let's see how this goes. I'm going to be following this as well. So that was a little bit something different today. This is Gizmo First. Hit the like or subscribe, and I'll catch you later.